I am back already. I know. Oh, it's the same day that I filmed my first ever car vlog, and here I am again. This may be a much shorter snippet that I'll tag onto something else, or who knows, maybe I'll end up getting detoured and have enough time to get into a decent conversation. But I had so much fun and felt really relaxed and grounded after vlogging this morning for the first time, that it was so nice that I wanted to do it twice in one day. And that's pretty maybe ridiculous to some people, but for me, I'm trying to focus on finding small things in my life that are not a huge financial, physical time commitment for me, that bring me joy, that make me feel as if I am taking time for myself. And I think that's important for all of us to do, but it's hard to understand what that actually means when you've got so many people who you feel like deserve all of your time and attention, and you want to do things for them all the time, and you always want to be taking care of them. But sometimes, this is something I'm working on, understanding at least, sometimes the best way to take care of the people that you love is by taking care of yourself, right? So, it's just like that old adage of, you can only pour out of your cup so much until you're empty, and you need to figure out what fills you up, so that you have more to give. And that is something that I'm excited to just be experiencing and taking these little moments to talk and just be with myself and all 1 or 0 or 5,000 maybe one day, who knows, of you who are experiencing this moment in time with me. And I'm just really grateful for that, and I'm excited. Okay, I am very pregnant and very hungry, so on this little trip I'm gonna pause and grab some food in true Petermon style. Well, actually, he is excellent at ordering through the drive-thru, but I think that I'm not at that level of multitasking while vlogging at this point. So I will be back shortly with some unhealthy life choices in the shot, so look forward to that. I'm back, and I've got some Sonic, and as promised, an unhealthy life choice, I got some popcorn chicken, and I'm very excited about that. But I did make one good choice. This is water. Water. I will tell you, I've never been somebody who hated water or anything like that, but as an adult, I have come to appreciate the absolute magical healing powers of hydration. And as much as I wish with all my heart that this was a cherry Coke, it's water, and I know that it is going to really benefit me and baby girl to just continue down that. Also, I'm trying to be a little bit more careful. I think when I first found out I was pregnant this time, it's kind of like the excitement, and it's really easy to fall into the excuse of I've got cravings, and I do. Man, this round especially, I've got mad cravings, controlling my thoughts and dreams, but it's really easy to fall into the excuse of well, I'm pregnant, well, I've got cravings, I'm gonna have whatever I want, and really lose sight of the fact that I've worked extremely hard over the last year to change my relationship with food and change my relationship with my body, and start to respect myself enough to make better choices on a consistent basis, and spent several weeks just kind of allowing myself to indulge. I'm not ashamed of that, and I don't regret that, but I think that as a mom and a vessel carrying a human life, there is a responsibility that I have, not only to myself, which I do have that responsibility to myself. Nobody else is responsible for how I take care of my body besides me, but especially now, there's another little human inside of me, and they have no control, no say, and no opportunity to decide what bodily choices, that was poorly worded, I'm sorry, what health and fitness choices that are being made for them. So it's something that I think a lot of moms probably experience is just mom guilt all the time. I kind of embrace it and say, let the mom guilt challenge me, but not overwhelm me. And that is easier said than done, but I'm working on it. And so right now I'm letting it challenge me to make good choices, while not leading me to a place of guilt or shame for feeling like, I put on more pounds than I wanted to the first trimester, or I was eating a lot of sugar, which honestly isn't even like me. But man, I guess what they say is true, because with baby girl, I have been craving nothing but sweets, and I am not a sweets eater, hardly ever. I'm much more of a savories kind of girl. My husband's got the sweet tooth, so he's enjoying the fact that I'm bringing home ice cream every day. But we're not going to do that moving forward. Absolutely have a treat, when it's appropriate, and when we want to have that experience, but it doesn't need to be all the time. And ultimately, I know for a fact that I feel so much better, physically obviously, but also like mentally and emotionally, when I know that I'm making healthier choices for myself. And to have energy, like when I tell you, losing 100 pounds, before I was working the same hours on my feet, active, and always had the excuse of, yes, I am overweight, but I do all this stuff physically. But at the end of the day, when every part of your body hurts from your daily activities, you start to think that's normal. But when you really do go on a little bit of a journey of self-improvement, lose some of the weight, you just start to understand that energy is like, you have so much more energy than you even imagined possible at that previous higher weight, right? And I do not at all believe that there's a specific body type that is beautiful or necessary. What I believe and know to be true in my life is that when you are making choices that are good for your body, your soul feels good too. And I think it just goes back to what I was saying about just respecting yourself, loving yourself. And man, those are some hard existential concepts to wrap your head around, and they're really multifaceted. But I think that that's one of the most fun parts about growing up, being an adult, is there's a lot of responsibility, and there's a lot of big existential, multifaceted things to start really wrapping your head around. But if you allow yourself to explore those things, it can be really, really satisfying to just grow intellectually and spiritually. And I think that's exciting. Anyways, I have got to get back to work, but my one little tidbit that I want to throw in here, my little midday lunch break vlog, is something that I experienced at work today. I am honestly just having a great day, but I've worked for it. So I got into work this morning. I was experiencing a ton of anxiety, and I know that can be a term that is frivolously thrown around a lot. So please know that that's not my intention. I do have a diagnosed anxiety disorder, but I think that on a human level, everybody does experience this emotion, and it's got a lot of physical effects that go along with that mental state that you can be in. And fortunately, I have really learned some great mechanisms to keep it under control. But right now in the pregnancy, your hormones are crazy and all that kind of stuff. So this morning I just felt anxious, and I felt disorganized, and I felt frustrated with myself over certain situations. And and I felt, my feelings got hurt, whether that was justified or not, by somebody that I care about and really love that I work with. And I felt like there was a moment where I had the choice of how do I move forward from this. And as a leader, it's really, really important to know, not even just as a human in the universe that is surrounded by other humans, it's so important to know that your energy, your mood, and your actions are so contagious. The way that you treat people and the way that you go about your day can truly change I cannot think of another word, I'm sorry, the vibe of the environment around you. And some people kind of have more of a strong personality that affect things more or less. But I'm one of those people, I would say, that I do think that for better or worse, the mood that I'm in is going to affect the mood of the people around me. And a lot of that has to do with the fact that I'm a restaurant manager who works with a team of restaurant employees who are relying on me to set the tone and expectation. And so just because I am going through a moment of personal anxiety, frustration, hurt feelings, whatever it is, that is not their problem. And I'm trying to think of a way to say this, but there's a responsibility that we all have as adults to ensure that whatever environment that we're in, at home, at work, or whatever, that we are taking responsibility for our own emotions and choosing our actions, right? And how we go on that. Nobody is perfect, and I am certainly not. And I failed at this a lot of times. But today, I'm so proud of myself because I was really able to take a step back and say, how do I remove myself from this funk in a way that allows me to be a positive influence, a strong leader, and create an environment for my team, co-workers. We're all in this together. I don't care what your title is. We're all in the same building doing the same thing. And it's so important that every person there is willing to be there in a positive way and contribute that way as well. So what I did, and I've done this is gonna sound so cheesy, guys, and you know what? I don't care because it works for me. Maybe there's one person out there in the world that this will work for too. It goes along the lines of fake it till you make it. But when I am particularly feeling down on myself, what I love to do is I start with just like 3, right? I'll say, okay, I'm gonna say 3 compliments, appreciations, gratitudes, whatever you want to call it, to 3 different people. And I'm just going to set aside that negative energy, replace it with something positive that I don't feel like I can hold on to right now because I'm not in a great space, but I can put it out there, right? And as you do that, or as I do that, you see the light in somebody else's eyes. You see the smile. You see that you have done something positive. Maybe it's so small. Maybe they won't remember 5 minutes later. Maybe they will. But that moment releases endorphins, right? Maybe it's like a sick, like Freudian thing. There's truly no good deed in the world. Everything is selfish. I don't know. I'm not a theorist or psychologist or anything like that, but I know that it works for me when I see that I have done something that left a positive impact, no matter how small, on somebody else. I inevitably start to feel better about myself. And when I start to feel better about myself, I get a little bit more confident. I get a little bit more able to look at a situation and see that, yeah, maybe I made a mistake. Or maybe somebody else has done something that hurt my feelings, or put me in a mindset of of being anxious or uncertain about how to move forward. But what I can control, and I can't control that, right? What I can control is my actions, how I treat the people around me, the effect that I'm going to have on their day. And it grounds me to know that regardless of me not feeling my best self, me not feeling positive or optimistic, I do have control over how I act in that situation. And when you see that, when you experience that and feel that, everything else kind of comes down and grounds for me. Of course, every person is different. Every experience is different. But this is something I've done many times as an adult. And I honestly wish I could remember. It's certainly not an idea that I came up with myself. I honestly wish I could remember who first introduced that to me, but I remember when they said, okay, well, if you're having a bad day, then you need to go out in the world and do more kind acts and more outrageously happy things than you normally do. And I was like, no, that doesn't make any sense. I'm not willing to because I don't feel like it. And that's, I think that maybe is normal, but I was definitely a lot younger when I thought that. And I don't know the first time I did it, but I definitely have used this tool in my adult life. And I know it sounds cheesy, sounds silly. You can roll your eyes and just move on. But maybe in the next moment that you're having frustration, self-doubt, anxiety, feeling hurt or let down by somebody else, take a moment to do anything. Just think of something, whether it's an act of service, a gift giving, a simple compliment that you can see results of the positive impact that you're putting out in the world, even for one person, even if it's for 1 second, and be in that moment, experience it, and let it change you for the better, and let it change your day. It's never ever too late to start having a good day, right? So I think that's a beautiful thing, and I hope that you guys can relate. I'm already at 15 minutes of this vlog, but I think this one's just going to be very long because I definitely want to jump back on here after I get off for the day and continue this chat with you guys. So I look forward to that, and until then, be kind, do something kind. I will see you.